All right, let's jump right in. We're about to completely overhaul the old financial rulebook and hand you the official 2026 playbook. So you might want to forget a lot of what you've been told because we're talking about a much smarter, more automated way to manage your money in this new era.
So what is the big shift here? Well, think about it. Just a decade ago, being good with money meant having the discipline to manually move cash into your savings account every single month and just, hoping you remember to do it. But today, it's all about using smart tech that automatically invests your spare change without you even thinking about it. That's the fundamental shift we're talking about.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down exactly why the old advice just doesn't cut it anymore. Then, we'll get into the fun stuff, building your wealth with a powerful offensive strategy, and then locking it down with a smart defensive plan. We'll also spotlight the new money traps you've got to sidestep. And finally, we'll arm you with all the tools you need to get started, like today.
Okay, first things first. Let's really dig into why those old rules are so broken. I mean, the whole world has changed. We've got AI, digital payments are seamless, and we understand our own financial psychology so much better now. The strategies that worked for the last generation, they're just not going to be enough for us.
So what's really driving all this change? Well, it boils down to these three massive forces. You've got AI that can now make really smart financial decisions for us automatically. Then there's digital public infrastructure, things like real-time payment systems that make moving money totally effortless. And finally, we have all these amazing insights from behavioral finance that help us build systems that actually work with our human nature, not against it.
Right, so now that we know the old way is obsolete, let's start building your new wealth-building playbook. This is where we go on the offense. This is all about how you can use these incredible new tools to proactively and automatically grow your money.
And seriously, check out how simple your offense can be. First up, you have micro-savings apps. These things just round up your daily purchases to the nearest dollar and invest the difference. You're literally investing in your future every time you buy a coffee. Then you have smartstips, which automatically increase your investment amounts whenever you get a raise or a bonus. It's set it and forget it wealth building. It's genius.
So, you're automating your savings, which is awesome, but where should that money actually go? Well, you can forget that old, dusty 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio. For anyone under 35, that is just way too conservative. The new standard is what we call the resilient portfolio. It's a growth-first model, and it's designed to maximize your returns over the long haul.
And here's what that resilient portfolio actually looks like. The first thing you'll notice is that huge chunk, a whopping 70 to 80%, is in core growth assets. See, this isn't about playing it super safe. It's about being aggressive and building real wealth while you're young and have decades to ride out any bumps in the market. So what's actually in this thing? Well, your core is your foundation. Think low-cost index funds that give you a piece of the entire market. Simple and powerful. But the satellite part, that's where it gets really interesting. Here you can add things like private credit, which is kind of like you becoming the bank or even own a slice of a commercial building through fractional real estate. Cool, right?
But what about the cash you need to keep on hand? Okay, here's a pro tip. Never, ever let it just sit there doing nothing. With something called a sweep-in account, any extra cash in your checking account gets automatically swept over into a high-yield savings account. Instead of earning basically zero, you could be earning 4, maybe even 5% interest. It's literally free money.
Okay, so we've got our offense firing on all cylinders. Now it's time to talk defense. Because look, building wealth is only half the battle. You absolutely have to protect it. And that means getting really smart about how you manage your liabilities.
Remember hearing about the old ways to tackle debt? The avalanche method versus the snowball method? They both worked, but man, they required so much mental energy and willpower. The 2026 strategy is a total game changer. Refinancing AI does all the heavy lifting for you, constantly scanning for better interest rates and finding ways to consolidate your debt. It's a huge weight off your shoulders. And the results? They're pretty incredible. Just imagine for a second you have, say, 10 grand in credit card debt at a painful 18% interest rate. With refinancing AI, you could potentially bundle that into a personal loan at 9 to 11%. You are literally cutting your interest payments in half, pretty much overnight. That is a massive win.
And look, this isn't just some theory. It's already happening. Just look at this data. Gen Z is going all in on these AI savings apps, and they have a much higher appetite for risk. For them, success isn't just about a retirement number 50 years from now. It's about creating lifestyle flexibility today. This is the future, right here.
Okay, so we've got the offense, we've got the defense, but with all this new opportunity, there are also some brand new risks. So let's talk about the 3 critical money traps that can completely sabotage your financial future in 2026.
The first trap is a classic for a reason. They call it lifestyle inflation. You get a nice raise and suddenly you find yourself eating out more, upgrading your apartment, getting that new car, and before you know it, you're making way more money, but you're not actually saving any more of it. It is such a sneaky trap and it can completely derail your progress.
Next up, we have the social media trap. We are all just bombarded with advice from finfluencers, right? But here's the reality check. Having 1 million followers does not make you a financial expert. And get this, a staggering 82% of young people admit they need more education to figure out what's good advice and what's garbage. So please be skeptical. Always do your own research.
And the third and final trap is the insurance gap. This one is huge. You might think, oh, I've got insurance for my job, I'm covered. But here's the hard truth. That insurance is designed to protect your employer's liability, not your financial future. One unexpected illness or accident could completely wipe you out if you're only relying on that.
So how do you actually protect yourself? You build your own personal financial fortress, and the foundation of that fortress rests on 2 pillars. First, a term life insurance policy that's worth at least 10 times your annual income. Second, disability insurance, which protects your single most valuable asset, your ability to earn an income. Seriously, these 2 are non-negotiable.
All right, we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's get down to the how. In this final section, we're going to give you the specific resources you need to take everything we've talked about and put it into action.
Here are 3 amazing resources to get you started. Think of Investopedia as your go-to encyclopedia for breaking down any confusing financial jargon. If you want to go deeper and see the academic studies behind these strategies, check out ResearchGate. And when you're ready to really analyze your own investments, Morningstar is an absolutely incredible tool for making sure your portfolio is perfectly tuned for growth.
So there you have it. That is the personal finance playbook for 2026. You now have the strategy, you understand the landscape, and you have the tools to build a really secure and prosperous future. So the only question left is, what's your first move going to be? Are you ready to take control? Because the power, it's all in your hands.